Are you not sure if you want to go with a foam latex or silicone prosthetic for your next makeup?
What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
Let's talk about the pros and the cons. Now, silicone is definitely seen as the best prosthetic material that you could be using, but that does not come without a cost. With silicone prosthetics, you're definitely going to be breaking the bank. Since it is a higher quality product, people are going to charge as so. Now, one of the reasons silicone prosthetics are considered elite is they have super thin edges. And because of that, they blend way faster than foam latex pieces. And just to clarify, silicone prosthetics should not be confused with two-part silicone FX kits. Silicone by itself has non-stick properties, so gluing it directly on your skin, it doesn't really want to hold. As anyone who may have tried a silicone kit, you probably noticed that the pieces aren't really that locked onto your skin, even if you put a base coat of glue. So as a remedy, silicone prosthetics are encased in a plastic material. This is the same material that is used to make plastic bald caps. And because of this plastic, you can easily get super thin edges, and that's why you're able to use acetone to melt the edges and blend them into the skin. And any edge problems you can easily fix with either Pros8 or Beta Bond, and even using Bondo in any bigger edge issues. As far as glue, if you want the piece to last all day, it's really recommended to break out that silicone adhesive. That's because water-based glues like Pros8 and Beta Bond, they just don't work as well. That's because silicone pieces can hold the moisture from your skin more than foam, and this can actually cause a reactivation in water-based glues. For something that you want to last all day and for many hours, and possibly even in some harsh conditions and heat, I would definitely stick with the silicone adhesive. But if it's something small, quick, or maybe you're just throwing it on for a YouTube video, yeah, I have glued on silicone prosthetics with Beta Bond. Now with painting, you do want to add a layer of Pros8 or Beta Bond. This is going to help the makeup stick to the prosthetic, and it's going to act like a primer. It's also going to act as a barrier, because if you rip the plastic material encasing that silicone, you're going to find that silicone does not play well with makeup. Also, a nice thing about silicone prosthetics is you do not have to paint them as aggressively. You can get a more realistic base tone as opposed to that dull yellow latex color of foam latex. So you can paint more translucently and add a lot of subtlety to your paint. And this is really going to give it a more realistic effect. I mean, you spent the extra money, you don't want to cake it with makeup. That being said, if your final look is a completely different color than the base tone of your silicone prosthetic, you gotta do what you gotta do. Now, if you plan on using the prosthetic for multiple uses, you are not going to get that from silicone prosthetics, because that plastic material is way too delicate and it ends up getting destroyed when removing the piece. Small silicone pieces like wounds can easily be made at home. The materials involved are non-toxic, so people can even make larger pieces with the adequate amount of knowledge and the workspace. Let's get into foam latex. Off the bat, foam latex has latex, so that might exclude some people for using on their skin. Foam latex is a good prosthetic material choice if you're doing large prosthetics, because silicone can get quite heavy quite fast. As far as cost, foam latex traditionally is cheaper than silicone, but that doesn't mean it's cheap. There are some high quality foam pieces out there, and you will be paying a pretty penny. Water-based glues like Pros8 and Beta Bond work excellent on foam, and you could still use the silicone adhesive if you're looking for an extra hold to last throughout the day, or somebody might be sweaty. If everything is glued down properly, you usually don't have to worry about edges popping up through the day as you may more with silicone pieces. Part of the reason is that foam is going to help absorb some of that moisture, keeping it on your skin. But of course, if you're really sweaty, that thing's really gonna wanna crawl off your face, and that's when you would really wanna take out those stronger adhesives. Well, the edges can't be melted away like silicone prosthetics. And some may find foam latex edges are harder to lay down and work with. But that's honestly true with silicone too. If you aren't taking the time to properly apply it and just get general practice, you might run into edge issues with silicone prosthetics as well. You can stipple latex and glue onto the edges to blend them further. Also, Bondo works great to fix any problems. Like the silicone, it's very beneficial to add that layer of glue over top to prep the surface for painting. But with foam latex, you can also use packs. Now, packs is a 50-50 mix of acrylic paint and an acrylic glue such as Beta Bond or Pros-Aid. It's not that you can't use it on silicone prosthetics, it's just traditionally kept with foam latex. Now, foam latex does tend to require more makeup, especially with realistic skin tones. Since most companies just sell the foam latex in its raw form, which is that pale yellow shade, and starting with a red or peachy PAX paint, that's a great way to start those warm undertones that are present in the skin. And because it doesn't have that translucent quality like silicone does, you do have to layer different tones, basically give the illusion of translucency that real skin has. Which means you may need a little more practice with foam latex to blend it into the skin than you may find if you're using silicone prosthetics. However, foam latex pieces are reusable. So that makes them more cost efficient. Hot foam latex pieces are not something you want to make at home unless you have dedicated equipment like a mixer and the oven. Please do not use your home oven to cook foam. Now, I know a lot of people probably just want to jump into silicone so that way their prosthetic makeups just look more professional. But there's a lot of important skills that you can build from using foam latex. First off, it's definitely going to make you a stronger painter dealing with that less than ideal base color. And even with silicone pieces, you can encounter really bad edges. And learning to get flawless edges is a priceless skill set. Be sure to click over to the next video and we will go through how you can tackle bad edges in your prosthetics.